Good on business. Shelly times Ola uncut. Shelly says she's toned herself down to dodge the angry black woman trope. When you have to lower your volume so producers don't raise theirs, baby, let's talk receipts, racism, and who was really standing on business in that villa. Hello, sunshines. Welcome back to Black Blondie TV, your safe space for unfiltered reality TV recaps and pop culture think pieces, a sprinkle of show stopping shade. Today we are unpacking episode 136 of Baby. This is Keke Palmer, titled Standing on Business with Love Islands. Shelly and Alandria, which dropped today, running a little over an hour. I beat it twice, pulled the juicy quotes, and built you a 20-minute deep dive, perfect for your commute or your skincare routine. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. Okay, so who is Shelly and Alandria? So, quick refresher for the casuals. Michelle Shelley Batista, I think that's how you say her name. Alandria Cartheden entered Love Island USA season 7 as day one OGs this summer. Shelley left pre-finale linked to Ace, and Alandria slow burned her way to runner up with Nick. Both women became instant fan faves and targets depending on who you ask. Child. Now, for their very first joint post villa sit down, they picked no other than the iconic, the wonderful Keke Palmer. That choice matters. Podcast space equals longer form, equals fewer edits, equals safer ground. Okay, let's get to the next little topic labeled Mean Girls and the double standard. Now, why they was calling them Mean Girls, I don't know. I didn't see them as Mean Girls. What I saw wasn't Mean Girls. They were actually very kind, kinder than I would have been. So let's start with the elephant, or should I say the pink flamingo in the room, the Mean Girls narrative. So, headline from Cosmo, Orlandria and Shelly reacted to being labeled Mean Girls. Shelly tells Kiki she clocked early how playful sarcastics from other islanders got framed as funny, while their humor read as bullying. Orlandria jumps in. We could literally say the same thing, and the tone police would go off in the comments, which they're speaking the truth. They would go off. Um, when your voice gets policed, but your value doesn't get protected, that is the real island twist. Kiki ever the big sister mediator calls it out for what it is, a racialized double standard. Okay, racism and harassment. Y'all, the hate went beyond smarky tweets. Shelly reveals she had strangers, threatening to call. No, they didn't. She had strangers, you know, just leaving all kind of threatening comments towards her. Olandria adds that the fan accounts were doxing her mom's workplace. I yikes, not doxing. Kiki face literally does that. That meme. And here comes everything else. If your fandom needs a welfare check to make a point, you're not a fan. Oh, is my mic going dead? I think it is. Oops, oops, oops. Let me get up here. Not my mic went dead. Okay, so we on to this. We're just gonna talk like this. Mm, so if your fandom needs a welfare check to make a point, you're not a fan. You're a problem. So they talked about production, mandatory therapy. Now, credit check where it's due. Peacock allegedly arranged therapy sessions the moment the Islanders got their phones back, which was smart. Orlandria says that 24-hour buffer before scrolling changed everything. That nugget deserves an applause. Can I get an applause? Can I get an applause? Reality TV chews people up. Aftercare should be standard, not PR. Yes, yes, yes. The Shelly and Ace rumor. Ooh, now this one right here. That rumor. I am very emotional about that rumor. If y'all didn't watch my other videos, that rumor made me very emotional. But we're gonna keep it on topic because we're staying on the notes. So Kiki pressed, sis, were you and Ace dating before the villa? Shelly laughs hard. She says they'd only crossed paths at a Miami event. Oh, I thought it was a New York event. No secret situationship, no NDA love story. Hmm. Still, she admits the rumor annoyed her because it downplayed her in Villa Growth. Yes, it did. Receipts over rumors, babes, especially when the rumor is buying influencers cocktails on Collins Avenue and calling it evidence. Not on Collins Avenue. That got me. I had to kick laugh at that one. Okay, villa logistics and consent culture. They talked about this. This segment it was like a pure reality nerds candy. No clocks on set. Producers yelled island time. Contestants they did STDs checks. Of course, I always talked about, I'm pretty sure they did those kind of things, STD checks, HIV tests before they came on the show. They signed explicit consent paperwork before any steamy challenge. And get this, production hands out mouth spray between back to back kissing scenes. Yes, they needed to do that. I was like, yes, they do that. Oh my goodness, they do that. I was like so proud of them that they did that. I nearly spit my coffee, sanitized, smooches, but messy emotions. Hmm. I peaked Love Island. That got me, cause I saw I had just woke up and then I saw it on my little algorithm line and I was like, okay, let me see. But when I saw that they actually did that, I was like, yes, I kind of figured that they had to do some kind of safety precautions because people be having colds and stuff. They was in Fiji, people be having allergies and stuff, coughing up spit and stuff. I'm pretty sure they had to have precautions. My mic went dead. I don't know why. Let me see if the other one won't go dead. Let's see. I'm like, I literally just pulled these mics out and they already did. Let me push this button. Is this the button to turn it on? Okay. Okay, that one is blinking. And then let me plug this in. Okay. Maybe it's the thing that's dead. Nah, it's not that. I'm back on. Oh no, it's dead. The whole thing need to be charged. Okay. Never mind. Okay, so they talked about the standing on business challenge. The episode title references is this? Okay. So the standing on business challenge. The episode title references the infamous 6 hour challenge where Orlandria confronted mixed signals in the villa. She tells Kiki by hour five, I was dehydrated and over the nonsense. So I stood on business. Shelly jokes she was inside hyphenate like a WWE announcer. I said, okay, you was hyphenate like a WWE announcer. Editing trimmed it to 2 minutes. Reality was an endurance test. In reality, it was a endurance test. So I guess production loves content. I mean, they love conflict, but context is the first casualty. And then they talk about Taylor and Clark and the Nick plot twist. Alandria spills that she only learned after filming how lukewarm Taylor actually was. I said, oh my God, she didn't know? And Clark, fun, flirt, zero follow through. And then enter Nick, who slid into the villa with he was in the villa with a type B, calm, and allegedly chose her every chance he got, even when recoupling drama made it risky. Fans still debate his motives, but their Disneyland date, which was cute, I know y'all probably saw that on TikTok, um, suggested it's more than a PR showmance. But I still got my eyes on Nick. I'm gonna keep my eyes on him because I don't know about him. Y'all know me. You just never know about people. So slow burns win marathons. Can I get a clock on that? But PR Flames barely finished the 100-meter dash. I must say, in life, things are a marathon. So we'll see, if they can go the distance and that it's, really real. And then they talk about the girls and the heart rate challenge. Shelly Shelly defines a girls as showing up for every woman, which I thought that was so that's what it meant. OG or bombshell. She admits that she hasn't rewatched the heart challenge because Twitter already gave me the cliff notes. Huda apologized the same night they squashed it. We are over the index on villain edits and under report on instant accountability conversations. So that's just my analysis. Life after the villa. Shelly says she and Ace have been inseparable, like supermarket run inseparable. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Meanwhile, Nick and Olandria are pacing themselves, which they should, balancing brand deals with real dates. That's so cute. I'm happy for them. I was so excited for them to do an interview, especially with Miss Kiki Palmer, one of the greats. She is very funny to me, yet kind of corny at the same time. But it balances out. But she's like such a sweetheart. I like her and I like her style. Um, they had their viral Disneyland pics, and then they had their little sweatshirts that said Nicolandria. I thought that was cute. Um, I just think that it was a cute little interview. It didn't get too nasty. it didn't get too, it got to business, and they did stand on business, but they stand on business very professionally. Kind of how Chris handled himself. They handled themselves very professional because, I totally get that they didn't want to, get that label as being angry black girls and stuff. So throughout the whole thing, I really like salute their classiness and the way that they handle things throughout their time on the show and on this podcast. So I hope they continue to, keep up the good work because it's just smart to keep it that way because, you have to play your cards right and you can't be burning bridges. You got to play your cards right. And I am a black woman, so as a black woman, I understand where they're coming from, that you have to, hold it back, you know, and be professional. And, when I was younger, I struggled with that. But, when as I got older, I learned to just, use your EI, your emotional intelligence, and, focus on the long game and focus on the tunnel vision. And always, you can speak your mind, but you can say it in a very eloquent way. Is that how you say it? Very eloquent and classy way. You don't have to get to the in the gutter or go to hell like Portia said. Kenya went to hell at the salon, honey. You don't have to go to hell, honey. You can, just tone it back. I know sometimes people make you want to go to hell with them, but you gotta just woosah and think about, my money. Maybe think about your coins, your children, if you have children, um, and think about your brand and your image. Uh, so why does this podcast matter? Because long form conversations unmask reality TV caricatures. Like what I said about people being caricatures, they made sure Orlandria and Shelly made sure they were not that. But Miss Amaya did not get the memo. But when she goes back and looks at it, she'll see how they edited it to make her look like a caricature. So next time, maybe when she goes on another show, she'll know how to, conduct it. Someone gave them the notes, but she just wasn't reading the room, Miss Amaya Papaya. But it ended up working out for her. Thank God it ended up working out for her because I was kind of scared for her. Anyway, back to the topic. Spotlight and statistic double standards, and they remind viewers that these islanders are human, navigating fame in 4K. Yes, they're human, and everybody makes mistakes. And this is my thing that I say: only God could judge. God is the ultimate judge. What God thinks of you is what matters. And I would tell anybody that. Like, it took me a long time to realize that what God thinks of me is what matters. And I have a legacy to build for my people behind me. And I would like to remain classy and be seen as being a good person and a person that kind of, you know, a open-minded person, a person who keeps an open perspective of things because I was young at one time. We were all in, we're just human and they're human and they just decided to open up their lives and share you know, their lives with us on national TV. And that takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of strength, honey. Takes a lot of strength. And then be able to, hold it in and woosah and, kind of, because the cameras were on them at all times. So, of course, we saw everything, the good and the bad. And of course, people love negativity. They love to focus on the negatives instead of, the positives. But I really enjoyed watching them. And I love that they made me so proud. They're like beautiful, eloquent, classy young ladies. They're not judgmental. I just love that they're not, they just were just some cool chicks. And I love that they were like that on there. And I love that that is now their brand and they're going to continue to make that their brand. And, when they do need to step it up and, speak up, they know how to do it in a very feminine and classy way. And I just love that for them. Were Shelly and do y'all think was Shelly and Orlandria unfairly edited? Should production invest more in mental health aftercare? Um, I didn't know anything about them seeing a therapist, and I think that that was a good thing that they let them see the therapist after the show. Some needed it more than others. Um, but I think therapy, I advocate for therapy just all around in your life. Couples therapy, like I'm gonna do couples therapy when I get married. Like I go to therapy. I advocate for therapy. Therapy has helped me in so many ways. Therapy is key. So I hope all of them continue to do therapy. So that they can not keep everything all bottled up because it's not good for you. It can make you sick keeping all the anger and the feelings that you have all bottled up. So it's good to have to be able to talk to someone that you know is not going to tell your business and that you can keep it real with. And if you could stand on business about anything this week, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. Please smash that like button. If you would like, hit the subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll catch you the next time on a deep dive. And remember, unbothered isn't mean, it's boundaries. It's boundaries. I love boundaries, okay? Love you. Outie.